This video is brought to you by Motion VFX. Most video editors are making the same critical mistakes as keeping their work forgettable. They're obsessing over the wrong things. They're focused too much on everything technical, on animations, trending TikTok effects, you name it, while completely missing what actually makes viewers feel something. I wish more editors understood that editing's not some get-rich entrepreneurial side hustle that we do only to contribute to the ADHD brain-rotting TikTokification type of content. Video editing is fundamentally an art form, an extremely powerful one. Yes, of course you can make a good living from doing it, but what is far more powerful is the fact that you possess the ability, the power to be able to take a creative, imaginative thought or idea, and you have the ability to bring that idea to life. You can contribute real stories, real inspiration with this skill you have, with this art form of editing. But if you want to learn how to tap into this superpower that you have and learn how to harness it, then this video will change the way you edit forever.
You gotta start the story straight away.
It's always about the story, and it's always about the emotion.
The story.
The peak emotion of the scene. Storytelling technique.
Storytelling.
Tell us a story.
That's the storytelling in editing.
If you've watched my videos before, you've heard me say it. Great editing isn't about making things look cool. It's about understanding how the human brain processes emotion and using that knowledge to craft experiences that viewers quite simply cannot look away from. In the book, The Art of the Cut, editor Walter Murch, he talks about something called the blink theory.
One of my favorite subtle things I noticed in that scene is that they were not blinking.
So here's what we'll do, Bix. I'll tell you everything I know to be true, and in doing so, perhaps convince you to cooperate without intervention. Failing that, we have...
You might have a character blink, and you wouldn't want to include that blink. You wouldn't want them to, like, they're meant to be focused, and what was captured in camera on the day because of what was ever happening, that person blinked, or just naturally they blinked. But on camera, you don't want to be on a close-up of someone like blinking at that moment. You look at my timeline, there's loads of blink removal.
So the idea is that every cut should feel as natural as a blink. And if the blink themselves are distracting from the cut, then cut them out. But a lot of editors don't pay attention to the fact that it's not about the technical smoothness of the cut. It's about cutting at the moment when the viewer's brain is ready for new information.
It's just since the beginning of the conversation about Finals Club, I think I may have missed a birthday. There are really more people in China with genius IQs than the entire...
The Phoenix is the most diverse. The Fly Club, Roosevelt punched the...
Now that we understand these small but powerful techniques, I want to talk about something that I love in the world of editing and in this whole concept of achieving mastery within the craft. It's called the Emotional Architecture Framework. And this comes straight from The Anatomy of Storytelling, a fantastic book. And the philosophy of this framework says that our edits need 3 layers. Layer 1 is the logical layer. What information are you actually conveying?
The most important thing an editor does is to have an imaginary audience over his or her back, driving your decision. What are they asking now? What question have we successfully answered that question? Have we successfully posed the question?
Layer 2 is the emotional layer. What should the viewer actually be feeling?
There's a strong efficiency to seeing something in vision and seeing somebody say something conclusively. And then the little extra weight I always find in editing, some of the weight is before or after a line. So you kind of, you don't want to just cut robotically.
And the third layer is the subconscious layer, which is what psychological triggers are you actually activating?
With Denis films, it gives me a chance to play with something super, and it's very hard to find the word for this, but I would call it brain-stemmy images. It's appealing to some part of the brain that's old and not necessarily verbal. It's not necessarily front lobal. I don't know what the hell it is, but I can describe those images. I can give you a list of them in the film. And they're all very sensory, incredibly sensory. It makes you hyper aware. When you turn the sound off, you become hyper aware of people's eyes. And I feel like eyes, that's a serious part of what we do, is driving the cut by the expression in the eyes.
For example, in 2016's film called Arrival, we see all of these 3 layers being incorporated and in action. Layer 1, what information are you conveying?
Come back to me. Pick him up. Are you the sheriff in this here town? These are my tickle guns, and I'm gonna get you. You want me to chase you? You better run. Oh. I remember moments in the middle. I love you. I hate you! And this was the end. Come back to me. Baby, come back to me.
Well, this is the reveal scene of this whole movie. See, the non-linear flashes that our protagonist has been experiencing are actually memories from the future, not the past. The editing shifts our entire understanding of the timeline itself. It conveys a key plot twist purely through editing and visual juxtaposition, not exposition. Every intercut moment, the protagonist in the present, the protagonist with her daughter in the future, the heptapods communicating, the aliens basically, the general's call, everything, all deliver critical plot mechanics and cause and effect logic. Then the movie hits on the second layer here, the emotional layer, and it's really done in the editing here. The music builds while the protagonist sees her future daughter's life and inevitable death. The editing gives breathing space to emotional beats. Her tearful eyes, the daughter's laugh, hugging her, all of it is heartbreaking and beautiful at the same time, and the choice to still go through with it, knowing the pain ahead, telling us what we are and should feel. Then the third layer, which is the subconscious layer, the non-linear timeline plays on our discomfort with time and mortality. The soft lighting, slow fades, and mother-daughter imagery mimics dreams and memory, activating subconscious cues of nostalgia and grief. We don't know why. The repetition of circular visuals, the heptapod language, the womb-like portals, the child's face, all of it reinforces subconscious themes of life and death and cycles being processed. And by doing this, visceral emotions triggered before your brain fully even processes what's happening. This isn't an accident. This is psychology. And here's something a lot of editors, even ones doing this for years, never ever learn. The human brain makes a decision about whether to keep watching the video every 3 to 7 seconds. Not every 30, not every minute, every few seconds. Now, this means that every single cut is either keeping someone watching or it's quite simply losing them. And the secret isn't fast or retention optimized cuts. It's strategic cuts that create what psychologists call the Zeigarnik effect or cognitive loops. And I mean, what better example? What more classic of an example than showing you Christopher Nolan's Inception? See, the protagonist achieves what he's worked all film to get, to see his family, to be with them. But the thing is, he still thinks that he might be in a dream. So he spins the top that he has, that if it falls, lets him know that it's reality. However, the cut happens before the resolution. we don't know if he's in a dream or reality, leaving the audience in a state of mental loop. Like this moment from Interception, Nolan doesn't show whether the top falls or not, and that's a cognitive loop that's being created. Your brain stays hooked, desperate for closure. This is the same principle that most Disney Plus or Netflix shows use to make their shows so addictive, which naturally brings us to the idea of the depth versus surface trap within editing. Most editors get completely trapped in what I call surface editing, basically making things look pretty without understanding why. But viewers don't remember pretty. They remember how you made them feel. In fact, try to remember your favorite movie or YouTube video that you've ever watched. If you have something in mind, ask yourself, why is that your favorite? And 9 out of 10 times, it's likely your favorite thing because of the way it made you feel. Now, I know I keep harping on not focusing on fancy effects, but I do want to say something here because I get asked a lot about it. I'm not totally against using tools and plugins to help you edit, as long as you use them with intention and purpose. This is exactly why I wanted to partner with Motion VFX to sponsor today's video. Because when I'm editing, I like to see each scene as depth. There are layers to that depth. The more depth we can create, the deeper we can bring a viewer into the edit. So the way that I like to use plugins and presets is to evoke or create more of that depth through visuals. For example, imagine I'm working on a documentary about Ben Stiller. I don't know, since I just watched The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, which great film, by the way. And let's say that I want to use a newspaper article about something related to Ben Stiller, right? I can throw it in the timeline and I can have it on screen like most editors would, and that's fine, I guess. Or I can bring much more depth into this with some powerful and polished plugins from Motion VFX. My two favorites from Motion VFX is M Storytelling and M Documentary. I can quite literally take this newspaper article and now drag and drop with one click and have amazing effects, adding so much visual depth to this shot. I now have this visual that is significantly more interesting to look at, that now guides the viewer's eyes to what I want them to see and more stylistically appealing. Or alternatively, I can use another favorite plugin of mine by Motion VFX called M Newspaper and just drag and drop this in and edit a few parameters, and now I have an awesome animation that would otherwise take you hours to do. Here's where tools like Motion VFX become so powerful. And it's not because they make your edits just look fancy, but because they give you building blocks to implement these psychological principles faster. So instead of spending hours creating animations or visuals from scratch, you can focus your creative energy on the storytelling and on the emotional architecture that we just talked about. Right now, Motion VFX has reached out with an incredible deal for everyone watching that is only available until August 21st. So if you buy either Cine Studio or Design Studio, you get the other one completely for free for up to 2 months. So whether you start with a monthly or yearly subscription to just one of those plans, you automatically will get full access to the other highest plan completely for free. This means that you can access the entire library of professional design templates and plugins and effects and focus on what actually matters, which is crafting stories that connect with your audience on a psychological level. You're not stuck here trying to figure out what animations or effects to use for hours and hours. So thank you so much, Motion VFX, for sponsoring another video on this channel. For anyone who cares, I started this channel over 8 years ago now, making horrible content when I started, not really even knowing what direction I wanted to go in. And my first ever plugin when I started editing in the first place was actually a Motion VFX plugin. And I used to literally sit at my old desk setup and on my horrible laptop in my tiny apartment, broke as a joke. And I kid you not, I always thought it would be so amazing to be able to work with one of the companies I looked up to one day. And of course, Motion VFX was, I kid you not, it was on top of that list. So this genuinely is a really cool moment for me. And also thank you so much to everyone who watches my videos. It's because of you that I'm able to work with dream brands like Motion VFX. So again, thank you, Motion VFX, and thank you everyone watching this. And look, anyone can learn the technical side of editing fairly quickly, but understanding the psychology behind why certain cuts work and why certain rhythms feel right, why certain moments hit emotionally, that's what separates the editors who get hired from the ones who don't, who make an impact versus the ones who don't. And I know this is easier said than done, which is why I spent a few days gathering all of my documents, tools, frameworks, transcripts, you name it, training a custom AI GPT in everything video editing when it comes to storytelling and the psychology of editing. And I wanted to make it completely free. So you guys can have instant access to this completely free custom trained AI GPT in the world of editing when it comes to psychology and storytelling by just clicking one of the links in the description below. So definitely check that out if you want almost like an editing assistant with you at all times. And with that, remember to stop chasing the latest trending effects. Stop trying to make everything look perfect. Start understanding how human beings process emotion and information, and your edits will become impossible to ignore. I can guarantee you that. And if you don't believe me, well, you've watched the video this far. So I hope that this video provided you with some value that can really help you on your journey as an editor. And if you want to check out that Motion VFX deal or my free custom trained AI GPT and video editing, then the link to both of them is in the description. Just remember one last thing, the tools are just tools. The real magic happens when you find the story and understand the psychology behind the edit.